Good morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. It is Monday again. It's time for Monday Makers at the Southworth Library. So today we're going to work on making pop-up cards. I don't know about you, but in my house, people have been sending out a lot of cards since, I don't know, April, when they decided they couldn't see all the people they wanted to see. So why don't we try to make some cards today? You can give a card to somebody in your house, one of your parents, or a brother or sister, or you could put it in the mail and send it to somebody you haven't seen in a while and that you miss. I'm going to show you a couple examples here. Pop-up cards, we're going to work on a couple different techniques. This one was made by my friend Holly, and I really like this technique. So you see what she did here. She had a piece of paper that was long, and then she folded it that half and half, and then had another piece that was also folded that same kind of way, so it pops up. She glued some pieces on to add a little dimension, and it's really fun and interesting, and when you set it down it looks really cool. I'm working on a kind of advanced technique here where you have an extra piece, but let's start simple. What you need to get started is look in your packet of supplies. You should have a bunch of different kinds of papers. Probably need some glue. Other supplies that are not in that bag that you need to get are scissors, maybe a ruler, and grab some colored pencils or pencils to be able to mark things. Alright, go get those things and be right back. Alright, so I'm using this really fun book that I got from the library, How to Make Super Pop-Ups by Joan Irvine. Now there are a couple different techniques. There's cutting, there's structures, there's slides, and then some different things. So we're just going to look on do a couple examples of super cutting and super structures. So one of the easiest things to do is to do this birthday cake option. So get two pieces of paper that are the same size, fold them in half, set one aside that will be your cover, and then one will be your interior. And then on your first one, on the fold side, you're going to make a couple marks. So this is 14 centimeters. I'm going to do 4 centimeters in from each side for my first cut. And I'm going to go in, let's go in 2 centimeters. And the fun of this is that you can do it as small or as big as you want. Alright, so I have two almost parallel lines here. I'm going to use my scissors all the way to the top of that line. And now, here's the thing you have to do, is you're going to fold that up. Oh, remember when we did origami last week? We talked about folding? Give it a nice crease. And then what's going to happen, unfold it, and then when you open it up, you can fold it the other way. So your card will look like that. When you open it up, you now have a little step. And that may be enough. That's your first step. To say, oh, I just want to have, maybe you can put some flowers on here, or you could do it this way and have things sticking out. But this is going to make your card now have a pop-up. Alright, so now we're going to make it just a little bit fancier. And now from the side of this, we're going to go 2 centimeters in on each side. Maybe just one. Just 1 centimeter in. And maybe we'll make it a little bit less. We'll use 2 centimeters before. We'll do 1.5 centimeters. All right, so remember we have our fold is inside, and now we're making another fold. Make sure I did this right. After that, now we have a little step. So we can make it bigger. We can even do a third step if we want. Make sure everything's folded in there. I want to make the steps a little bit bigger. Just not getting it fold right. All right, we're going to be happy with 2 steps. Now becomes your time to be creative. You can cut out other pieces of paper and glue them on. You can turn this into a birthday cake. You can make little candles. Really, it's up to your imagination at this point how you want this to look. Just to give you an example, I'm going to just put a couple candles. And of course, the tricky thing with glue is that you gotta wait for it to dry with your pop-ups, because otherwise you're gonna fold it and everything's gonna come off. But yeah, you can use your colored pencils, make designs, add the details. Let's see, I had some yellow paper in my packet. Cut out some flames. Can you see behind that glue? I wonder what you're going to make on your pop-up card. And again, like any good paper craft project, keep your hands clean, not full of glue. Oop. If your hands are full of glue, then your things are going to stick to you and not where you want them to stick. Fun thing about calling it a birthday cake and making it into a cake is that birthdays come around all the time. Every year somebody has a birthday. Chances are somebody you know has a birthday coming up. And if it's not really soon, you can put it in a drawer so it's ready when they're ready. You don't have to wait till the last minute to make cards. My mother's going to laugh if she hears me say that. Alright, so there's some flames on our cake. There's our first pop-up card. And then after your card has dried, which is probably not the case for this just yet, but we're not going to worry about it. You don't want your card to look like that. And so that's why you have the second piece at the same size. And what you will do is that you will then glue that together. And this way, your card looks like a card. And then that makes it more of a surprise because they won't know that there's a pop-up in the middle. So remember to glue your back. Alright, I'm going to give you a similar cutting technique, but with very different results. So we're going to go back to getting 2 pieces of paper that are the same size. And I just used an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but obviously you can use any size that you want. Just make sure you have 2 of the same size. They don't have to be the same color. They can be different colors. All up to you. So for my inner piece, I'm going to grab a pencil here, and we are going to draw a person holding a book. So we're going to draw so that's going to be her head, and these are going to be her arms. All right. And now, same kind of technique, where we're going to cut on our lines through both pieces of paper. And you'll see as you do this, you figure out kind of how much you need. Obviously need enough that you can kind of fold it over, so you don't want to make that little space too small. All right, and then you're going to fold it. And fold it. And then, so now that you have that crease there, unfold it. And now, that's what your pop-up is going to look like. So now we're going to have fun here. We are going to, let's see, well, maybe I'll start with, I'm going to make a little book. Alright, so we can make a little book. We can give it a title. Let's see. We're going to call it, about the 3 little pigs. And then I can actually, it looks a little too big for my hands. Let me think about this for a second. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to open it up. Yeah, too big. So we'll trim it. It's okay. And you can actually glue that right in here on the crease. So put a little glue on the back and on the front. And obviously this is a test card, so if you were doing this for yourself, you may decide, you know what, I am going to decorate my book a little better before I put it in. Maybe change the angle of the arms a little bit. But now we have a book. And again, let the glue dry, but just, you always want to make sure when you're adding things to your pop-ups that the creases line up, so that they'll fold in together. But we can add other pieces of paper, or we could just draw right on here. We could give somebody some pigtails, some hair. And there we have a pop-up with somebody reading a book. can draw on hands. You can draw on clothing, or you can use other paper to make the outfit. And that's our next pop-up. Have fun with that. All right, so another technique for doing pop-up cards that are super fun is to have a superstructure. So rather than cutting out, you're going to be adding. So this basic technique is kind of fun. So again, here you can see I have two pieces of paper. I've made my superstructure, which is then glued in through these tabs, and then I have an outer cover. And now with this superstructure, I can turn it into a boat. You can look in here. I can turn it into a little well. I was thinking about sending this one to my mom that would say, "Wish you were here." But I really don't wish she's here because her county is not doing as good as ours in terms of COVID counts. But what you need to do for this hexagonal structure is you actually start, in this case, I cut out a piece of paper that's 4 inches by, or 4.5 by 11. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half one more time. And then one more time. And that is going to give us 1/8. And then we will fold it in half this way. Look, more origami folding techniques. Each of these weeks is going to, in some ways, build on each other. All right, and then open up your paper and number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to cut out everybody except for 3 and 6. So you should have 7 and 8 as a chunk. You should have 1 and 2. Make sure you cut on those lines that you folded. And then 4 and 5. And so that 3 and 6 is going to be our tabs that are going to help secure our structure to our card. So you'll fold those out. And we want a hexagon, so we're actually going to fold the pieces from 1 and 2 together and glue them together with 7 and 8. That's going to make it just a little more solid. So put on some glue. Line up those folds. You see, you now have a hexagonal shape that you can use to build con or to add more pieces into your card. And then what you will do with your card is you will line up the creases from the top and the bottom of your hexagon where you want it to be, and then you will mark on your paper where that is. There we have 4 marks. You can use a ruler, another piece of paper, make that line. It looks like that. You can either use your scissors or a knife if you have permission from your parents, or an X-Acto knife to make a slit here, and then you will put these little wings through the slits. And then you can use that to make your card. All right, I'm going to let you now have fun with this and send me your designs when you're done. southworthlibrary.org. Go check us out on Facebook, on our website, all those fun places. And we see you next week. Have a great week. Do lots of crafting.